Hi everyone! 元気ですか？こんにちは、皆さん。I'm trying to a little bit check. Okay. I'm on there. Okay. 皆さん元気ですか？ How are you everyone? Maybe a little bit dark. Okay. So I just finished a lesson and then I'm on the YouTube channel. Let's do this. So if you have any request or question, always comment here on YouTube and I'm checking our comments. So I would try to answer everything. If you have any question, anything about my personal life or about learning Japanese, I'm living here in Greece, talking about Greece, or of course, how you can become a Japanese speaker. So anything you want, you can ask me because I think you really need to know what you need to do today, speak Japanese fluently. So you can ask me anything you want. So let's talk about stop struggling to be a Japanese speaker. So, okay, I will introduce myself. I couldn't speak English until age of 28. So that's why around 7 years ago. So actually, one of my students found my old video like 10 years ago on YouTube. I was cooking teacher. So of course, I was doing the normal cooking class. I was doing the cooking class in Japanese, of course. And this time I couldn't speak English at all, of course, because I just grew up in Japan, normal, really normal life with Japanese parents. Maybe I mean, you don't have a Japanese mother, Japanese father, so you grow up in your country. So you want to speak Japanese, which is totally not related to in your background. I I was too. I was totally normal Japanese village girl. And now I can speak English in the public place like here. And then I can speak Greek. I'm learning German. That's amazing. It's totally changed my life. Can you imagine you can really speak Japanese fluently and you can really communicate with Japanese people like friends. And so this is, of course, you can work there, you can live there, you can make own community in Japan or with Japanese people because you can speak. So it's life changing. So now I can speak like here in English. Is I really felt like okay, I changed my life. So that's why I really, really want to share my experience for you to speak Japanese. So that's because it's totally opposite side, right? I couldn't speak English at all, and now I can speak English. So now you cannot speak Japanese at all, but you can speak Japanese fluently. Like me, maybe not like you can judge me. My English is bad or not or okay. But the point is you can speak Japanese. So you will be a Japanese speaker. The best or, very bad Japanese, whatever you want. But, like me, this, it's not native. I'm not the English speaker native, but you can be like me. I mean, you can speak confidently. This is the point. So, hi. こんにちは、皆さん. So, I can see here, what city in Greece? So, I'm living in Heraklion, in Crete Island. So, I wanted to have the island life from Tokyo. It's a big city, Tokyo. And to move to like an Asian Sea, island is amazing. Like you maybe feel like go to Tokyo, metropolitan city, it like you feel cool. So it's opposite side, as I said. So that's why if I say to all my Japanese friend, I'm living in the Asian, island in the Asian Sea, it's like amazing how you do it, how you can communicate, how you can speak, like the local language or English. This is a thing, if somebody around you, lived in Tokyo and speaking Japanese and has a lot of friends and having a great job, you can really feel, how did you do it? You can really communicate with the people, and having a job and living there is, how can I say, the big achievement for sure. And then you can really ask, how did you do it? So this is like all my Japanese friends ask me, how did you do it? Yeah. So do you teach Japanese classes in Greece? I mean, online. So you can take my lessons anywhere you want, from Japan, here in Greece, or from Italy, UK, USA, Australia, Singapore, anywhere you want. It's online. It's 2021. You don't need to stuck in your country. You want to go to Japan, right? You don't have time to think about the one country. It's online. You can connect. You are connected already to Japan too. My Japanese friend who living in Poland, he's working for Japanese company, but she's living in Poland. She's Japanese. It's if you think it's a negative, it's this COVID, it's we are having the tough time for sure. But also, if you think positive, you can live anywhere you want. You can go to Japan. You can having a job. You can do the exercise right now, to do the speaking exercise, so you are ready to go to Japan. You don't have a time to lose, really. You can get the job here in Greece from a Japanese company. Why not? She is having the job in Poland and working for a Japanese company. You can work for Japan in your country. Yeah, amazing. So that's why what we need is, of course, so many things. Of course, you need to speak Japanese. Otherwise, you cannot communicate with Japanese people how you work. How you work. Oh, what did you do today? What kind of job you did? You can show your work to Japanese people. You have some conversation, and you can make a friends there, a co-worker. You can communicate so many things. You have to do it if you really think about working with Japanese people. Or yeah, so that's why yeah, everything it's impossible. You don't have a time to wait, to waste. Okay, so let's see. So this today's title is "Stop Struggling to Be a Japanese Speaker," and then we can try to analyze ourselves what you are doing first of all. So okay, because this is a speaking classes, and then okay, you want to be a Japanese speaker. For being a speaker, what are you doing? What are you doing every day? Every day. So, for example, the typical things is, attending a classes to learn the maybe letter kanji, hiragana, katakana, and then grammar for sure, and then vocabulary. And I have a lot of textbook because I'm teaching too, vocabulary. And then what else? Maybe you are watching some video or YouTube in Japanese or anime, listening some Japanese music. I'm teaching Japanese for 6 years. Now it's around 7 years. Most of people say these things. Watching something, listening something, studying grammar, studying letters, studying kanji. Yeah, these things. I think 99.999% of people say these things. And then the same question actually I do each student who is studying Japanese already. So then let's speak only Japanese with me, 5 minutes. So because they are studying, right? Or you are studying grammar, kanji, listening music, watching anime. Most of, 99% of Japanese learners said I'm learning. And then when I said, let's speak only in Japanese, even like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, The result is no one actually can speak. This is a clear result. You know, no matter how much this person is, studying, so much, so many hours, so many years. But the clear result, when I said, let's talk only in Japanese, you and me, for 10 minutes, 5 minutes even. And most of people say cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot. Or they try, but when I said something, they don't understand anything. Panic. Oh, difficult. Japanese language is difficult. That's the actual, in the end, we say this one. Learning Japanese language is difficult. That's why still I cannot talk. So then I said, stop struggling being a Japanese speaker. And you can be a Japanese speaker just in 2 months. So this is a question. So learning Japanese is difficult. So many effort you're doing and you cannot speak. And Terumi is saying, you can speak. So what is the differences? So I have some reason. Why I'm saying you can be a Japanese speaker in 2 months. So the first question is, would you like to be a Japanese speaker in 2 months? And then after that, what do you want to do? This is the biggest question. This is my biggest question. Do you want to be a Japanese speaker in 2 months? And then after that, if you can, if I am like God, oh, I will make you Japanese, native Japanese speaker. Oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with Japanese language, speaking skill? Why I'm saying, because this is the biggest question to actually native Japanese too. Everybody's saying, my actual friends, all my friends, and then the business friends in Tokyo also. Oh, tell me, like, amazing, you can speak English now. Sometimes I watch your YouTube. I don't understand what you're saying, but you're amazing. You can speak English. And then I want to speak English. So then I ask, if you can speak English, what do you want to do? You don't need it, you're living in Japan. You don't need it. And I always ask, why you want to speak English? And then I think it's most of people because it's cool. Because it's cool. Yeah, because it's cool. I want to be like a 10 languages speaker then, because it's so cool. So, some people just a reason. So if you say, let's say, I'm just studying Japanese because it's cool. I'm studying Japanese because I just like, like English, you can study English because Hollywood movie, because it's cool. Like Tom Cruise was speaking English, so I want to be. So speaking, we need commitment, which means we need to speak so many times, the same phrases. And then this commitment need a passion. I, want to speak now 4 languages, my native Japanese, English, and do it, first of all. And then why I want to do? Because I want to go to the space, and I really love this space industry, and I was dreaming to get in the space ship. And then from my past, it's very different life right now. It's just a one step. This is not just I'm speaking English and I'm already satisfied, so I'm not studying. I'm still learning. I can speak, but still, I have so many things to learn: English, in Greek, in German, in even Japanese. You are maybe native Greek or English, Can you speak about everything? Can you discuss something in your language and then talk about politics? Speaking, you will speak to the people. Okay. And then you need a reason. What do you want to talk to Japanese people? If you don't have any idea, I don't know what I talk to Japanese people. It's not just watching the video, watching anime. We need to talk, right? So we need a topic to speak. I want to present something. That's why I need speaking skill. Okay. This is, we need to be clear is what would you like to talk? If you, I don't have anything to talk with this Terumi. If I met Terumi, then you don't need a speaking skill then. You can just watching. You need a reason to speak. So that's why I said speaking skill coming from actually the reason what you want to talk. You like politics, then go to the politics, political vocabulary. If you really like to discuss about anime with Japanese people, go to the, anime vocabulary, but no one can learn all vocabulary in the world, in the world. Do you know computer programming vocabulary? No. So why people are studying so much, grammar book or vocabulary book? Because they are not deciding the category that you want to talk. Do you understand? You have to decide the category that you want to talk about. So if I'm just watching the textbook, today I learned laundry. Today I learned, laptop in Japanese, pasokon. So yesterday I learned the laundry, and today I learned the computer, and then tomorrow I learned like a wall, kabe, or like a day after tomorrow I learned the tree, ki. So how can I speak like that way? I don't decide what I want to talk, and I just learn the randomly key or laptop or computer, and then now it's the light, denki, pasokon, coffee, key. Hey, let's talk something. You can't talk because it doesn't make sense. So that's why, if you really want to speak in 2 months, please decide the category. And now, what I want to talk with Japanese people. And then I'm saying, do you have Japanese friends now, right now? How many Japanese friends do you have? And in my experience, most of a Japanese learner doesn't have any Japanese friends. Most of them. Of course, some people already have it. Most of Japanese learner doesn't have any Japanese friends. Then, which means when you have the chance to talk to Japanese people, is a stranger, right? Stranger. Okay. So stranger, in general, do you talk to the stranger in your country, or in your mother language? Do you talk to the stranger? If you're good at talking to the stranger, I'm sure what you will understand. You understand what you have to talk with the stranger Japanese. So then it's what is the best way to talk to stranger Japanese? What is the best way to make them feel nice to speak in Japanese? It's not like hey, what's up? Hey, bro, how are you? It's not like that culture. I like American culture. I like this English culture so much. But then Japanese culture, when you talk to the stranger, or when you talk to the stranger in the company interview, do you know what you have to talk? I can say I like to talk to the food. Nice. But you don't talk to the stranger, hey, let's talk about food. We need some conversation before to start talking about food, right? So what is the first, phrase to talk to the Japanese stranger? If you're not sure, of course, every time you will make maybe feel bad. Oh, stranger. Like I said, like I recorded a few days ago. Hajimemashite. Nice to meet you. Hey, my friends. Hey, my friends. So this is not Japanese culture. So hajimemashite, you can't use it to the stranger. Okay. So then why every time when I talk to, the stranger face is like this? So in my lesson, what I say is first of all, self-introduction. Self-introduction. Hi, this is me. You need help? Oh, you can speak Japanese? Amazing. Oh, yeah. Actually, I can speak Japanese a little bit because I'm studying Japanese and I love Japanese technology. My dream is to work in Sony. Oh, really? Actually, my friends is working at Sony. Or maybe you need some help from him? Oh, yeah. Amazing. ありがとうございます。These are like natural conversation with a native, between native actually. Something when I try to help or somebody ask me something and I know what to say. I know what to say. So this is actual speaking skill. So it's totally different from the, you're learning tree or TV or something. Okay, yeah, that's learning Japanese, but it's not learning how to speak and how to communicate with the Japanese people nicely. So it's a kind of, you don't know what to say. And then when the time comes, it's just a panic. Oh, yesterday I learned the laundry and the tree, but this is not the time to speak. So that's why every time you're not preparing the sentence to meet Japanese people. Yes, learning Japanese with a grammar, that's true. But it's not you are preparing to meet the Japanese people and speak something. So this is the speaking skill, and actually the Japanese education is different. So then I'm always saying like you don't need to study grammar. Yeah, it's true. Because if you really, really want to be a Japanese speaker in 2 months or even in 1 year, you don't have a really time to study the grammar because grammar is a long, long way. So many kanji, so many grammar that is so different from English. You can go for grammar, no problem, but you won't be able to speak Japanese in 1 year or even in 2 months or even in 3 years. We learn Japanese with as a Japanese education, as a native Japanese, we didn't have the grammar education in Japan. All Japanese native Japanese, we don't learn any Japanese grammar in the school and from the parents also. We just learn the phrases from the parents, from the society, from the school. So no one knows about grammar anyway. But I can say, in order to speak proper Japanese and in order to read proper Japanese sentences like a newsletter, not newsletter, a newspaper or any book, we took 20 years. Native people, need time living in Japan and need time for 20 years. So try imagine you are not living in Japan. You don't have a Japanese parents. And I try to think you step by step, you learn the language without Japanese society, without Japanese parents, without any Japanese friends. You study grammar and you study kanji. Try to logically calculate is definitely take more than 20 years, right? So that's why you want to speak Japanese naturally, nicely with Japanese. So we have another way to study Japanese in order to speak. Grammar takes time. If you want to go for 20 years, go for it. And at the same time, if you took many years, start forgetting. Start forgetting. Because you don't use it all of grammar. As I said, tree and the laundry and the TV, which is not connected, this grammar. So many languages, how can I say, like a YouTube video, giving you random sentences, right? Laundry, and then after that, it's a book, and after that, it's a coffee, and then that's the food. So that's why, it doesn't make sense to create the sentence and actually use in the life. What is the conversation in the breakfast? What is the conversation in the when you meet the stranger, which is very, very necessary for you in the future. If you really want to meet Japanese people, is all stranger, right? So if you really don't want to take 20 years, I really strongly suggest you to forget the grammar and then learn the typical phrases. Okay, one more time. Learn the typical common phrases in Japanese and then memorize it. 大丈夫ですか？もしかして、助けましょうか？ When you met the stranger who looks like need help, what is the phrases? 助けましょうか？大丈夫ですか？ This is the best phrase. But if you go for the grammar, it will take 2, 3, 4, 5 years because this phrase is grammatically difficult. Causative, passive voice, there are so many, and it's a honorific verb or, humble way. If you really want to analyze what's going on, these phrases in the grammar, yes, it will take a lot of kanji learning. And after that, it's, polite way, honorific way, or, humble way. We have so many grammar that is even native people doesn't know. All of this grammar you end, and after that, you want to speak to the Japanese people right in front of you, or you just learn the phrases right now and you can speak tomorrow. My learning English and Greek and German, what I'm doing is I just cut this part. I'm not gonna go, this all, how can I story behind the language, what's going on. Oh, that's the honorific. That's the humble way. That's the actual imperative. And then actually, I can help these Japanese people right in front of you. Oh, I forgot it. What was it? I don't have time for that. I'm 35 years old. I would really love to improve my English, Greek, German, and even my Japanese, presentation skill. I just memorize the most common and the typical and nice phrases right now, and I'm gonna use to the people. This is the fastest way to speak, and this is the way to never mistake again. Why? Because you just memorize it. もしかして、ちょっと助けましょうか？大丈夫ですか？Probably you need help? I can help you. I just learn it. You want to analyze the old grammar of that in the behind? Yes, you can learn it. But it doesn't help the speaking skill right now. Because you didn't memorize the phrases, you doesn't come to in your mind right away. So that's the way to push your Japanese language speaking skill right now. So then what kind of phrases we need? What kind of phrases? That's why, as I said, you cannot learn the randomly like, okay, let's put the TV or something. テレビを かける。テレビをかける is a hang the TV actually, because I can see TV right now. And you don't need these phrases. When you're gonna hang the TV in your life? Only once in your life, right? You don't need to even learn to just hang the TV on the wall, something. Even you don't know these phrases, you will not lose the job today in Japan. But if you don't know how to help Japanese people right away, right in front of you, maybe you can lose the job. In the company, you went to the company interview. Somebody is struggling, cannot carry the heavy things. And you are thinking about grammar, what I should talk. No, I can give you the best phrase and just memorize it. もしかして大丈夫ですか？助けましょうか？ Even I know only phrases. I know only these phrases that it's most polite, most nicely, and anytime you can help Japanese people super naturally, nicely, and then this is a maybe destiny to change their life, because your life, maybe this person will be your future husband or maybe girlfriend or anything. But that's why speaking is you need a people, and speaking you need a purpose. So that's why you cannot learn the TV or tree or like a light or something with no purpose. You just learning randomly. Of course, you can forget every day. So being Japanese speaker in 2 months, we're gonna focus is the most common and frequently used sentences for you. So that's why my lesson, I have a private lesson and what you need. And then I'm gonna tell you most of the time is a stranger, right? Because if you don't have a Japanese 100 Japanese friends, which means you need to know how to communicate with a stranger Japanese. So that's why I'm saying what is most important for you is the self-introduction sentences. Self-introduction sentences. Try go back this situation. Some Japanese person, maybe let's say girl, is struggling to carry the heavy stuff. And now you have the chance to use the Japanese speaking skill. もしかして助けましょうか？大丈夫ですか？日本語喋れるんですか？ you can speak Japanese? I thought your face is, foreigner, so that's why I thought that you cannot speak Japanese. No, actually I can speak. 大丈夫ですよ。日本語大丈夫です。日本語喋れます。I'm okay, I can speak Japanese. ありがとうございます。I didn't expect it. ありがとうございます。何してるんですかここで。What are you doing anyway? So, you can introduce what you are doing here. Why you can speak Japanese. This time, I like anime. アニメが好きだからです。It's no problem, but it's something like you need to tell your personality. Actually, I just came for this company interview and then my dream is to work in Sony. So, Sony company, you are in now. You have to speak something super nice things. ソニーで働くのが夢で今会社面接に来たんです。今会社今探してるんです。I'm looking for the job actually, and then I'm hoping to get the job as a computer programmer. そうなんですか。I see. Actually, my friend is working in Sony. 本当ですか。Really? This natural communication is the self-introduction and the conversation with a stranger. I am not from Tokyo. I was born in Yamanashi, which is very village. It's a very, how can I say, I didn't have any friends in Tokyo. But I was dreaming to live in Tokyo as a village girl. And I went there. Is every day like this. Every day, 10 million people in Tokyo, you can meet every day different people if you want. But then if you want to get a new job or any new, friends or new community like a yoga class community or something, every time you have a chance to talk with people. And also even now, right now, online, you can just, find Japanese people like from your hobby. For example, I like car. Let's say Japanese motor friends. You join this, community through internet. So every day, so many chance to talk, right? To introduce yourself. Oh, why you can speak Japanese? You can just say, 日本が大好きです。I love anime. I love Japan. But then this is not the sentence to actually, start making a friends or apply for the company or somebody you can attract the people and then have them new chance or new opportunity. So self-introduction is the most important for you. Making a friends, get the job, join in the community, anything, because if you don't have Japanese friends, you need a self-introduction, who you are or why you can speak Japanese, what do you want to do in Japan, and what are you doing, because your face is the first presentation. I am foreigner. I look like I cannot speak Japanese, but from your speaking skill, you can actually present yourself, and Japanese people will understand you more. And that's the reason maybe people will hire you, the job or community, or people just simply trust you. So maybe become a friends, or maybe you will find a girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah. So that's why focus on the self-introduction and try to think, today you will meet Japanese people. What are you going to talk? And then grammar, as I said, it takes so many years. And then when you should talk to Japanese people, maybe you need to talk politely, nicely, humbly sometimes if you go to the Japanese company. And this grammar is so many, you need a step to learn. But try to think what is necessary for you right now if you don't want to wait 20 years. We have so many things to do. We need to learn so many phrases that you can use it from today. And you need to pronounce correctly. Okay, we have to do the exercise of a lot of pronunciation. This is the most important time. もしかして助けましょうか? Probably maybe you need help, but you didn't speak correctly, and then she felt bad because you said something really different vocabulary because the pronunciation was wrong. We need a lot of pronunciation exercises. You don't have a time to just sit down and look at the textbook. We need to pronounce correctly. We need to know the phrases that what you can use it from today. And we need to create the perfect self-introduction to present yourself who you are. So we have so many things to do to actually speak properly. So that's why I'm saying, in order to speak correctly, we need so much exercises. Making a self-introduction to know the correct phrases that you can use it for Japanese people today. And also we need to pronounce correctly, pronunciation practice. And we need a perfect reaction when somebody told you, ありがとうございます。本当に感謝しています。本当にあの時は助けになりました。It was so much helpful. You helped me this time. So now I can work in Sony. Thank you so much. So something like best feedback, best reaction when somebody talk to you, when Japanese people talk to you. what is the best reaction to say, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or, oh yeah, of course you help me.どういたしまして. You are welcome. It's not polite. You are welcome. Thank you so much. No. 本当にあの時はありがとうございました。感謝しています。I really appreciate it. It was a huge help. So, reaction. So, we have so many things to do in order to speak properly. So, this is my question. Would you like to speak Japanese properly near future? Or would you like to study Japanese as an education and we don't practice how to speak Japanese correctly? So this is my message. Stop struggling to become a Japanese speaker because we have so many things to do. How to speak, how to pronounce, how to present yourself to people trust you more, and then how to say the actual appreciation to tell Japanese people. So you can find the friends, you can get the job, you can actually meet maybe girlfriend or boyfriend or friends or a community, anything. We have so many things to do. You don't have the time to study grammar step by step. Otherwise, it will be realistically, it's going to be 20 years later to speak Japanese and communicate with Japanese people. So, let's see the comments. Thank you so much. I love Japanese. Hi, Kelly. Not Carrie. Kelly. Sorry. I love Japanese, but I'm afraid of speaking because I might make mistake in grammar. I really understand you. This is what most of people say. That's why I'm telling grammar. Yes, I said difficult. Honorific verb and present verb, past verb, and then so humbly you can speak passive voice, which is when you want to complain, is a passive voice. And then causative, when you really want to like how can I say the complaint for differently, you need the causative. So if you really want to be like a how can I say more higher class and speak to the lower person, you can speak imperative. So many grammar. Yes, it is difficult, but as I said, not necessary to do, because if you remember a lot of typical phrases, like Japanese people, we don't learn any grammar. And then my child, because I have a daughter, she can speak 3 languages because she's 4 years old. She cannot learn the grammar, but she can speak. And then my personal experience, I stopped studying grammar for all languages because I can really stuck when I have the time. Which grammar? Honorific, what was it? Causative, passive voice, to do form or progressive past, present, future, and negative, positive. Is it each sentence is can you do it? Each sentence is each second. And then try to give the perfect reaction. Of course, you will be like a panic. So that's why I'm saying, in order to speak language, it's not necessary to know all grammar. If you know the correct phrases, like children, like me, and all Japanese people doesn't know. If you ask, what do you know? What is the adjective and the noun and the verb? I never thought about it. Everybody say they never thought about it. They just speak naturally from a lot of repetition for 35 years or 40 years or 10 years, 20 years. Because simply I can give you, もしかして、大丈夫ですか? 助けましょうか? Should I help you? 助けましょうか? You just need to memorize it. But you can memorize it without grammar, right? So that's why you should not memorize right now to not wait 20 years. This is the way to speak perfectly So you don't need to think about grammar. You remember. You cannot make a mistake. Konnichiwa, right? Konnichiwa. Good afternoon. You don't think about grammar, right? When you have konnichiwa. But if I can talk to you, what is the grammar behind the konnichiwa? Konnichi means today, and the wa is a topic. So what about today means? Yes, when I learn that, logic or theory, it's gonna be fun. Fun, but it's not necessary to say konnichiwa. Uh, how can I say? It's not necessary to know the grammar, but you can say konnichiwa. But I can explain the konnichiwa grammar too. This is all phrases it's happened. All phrases. I can explain the grammar. What is ohayo gozaimasu? Ohayo. What is this grammar? But you can say ohayo gozaimasu. You can because just memorize it. Then why you should not memorize most common situation, which is a self-introduction you need to tell to the company or to make a friends or to join the community. Why you should not? Why don't you memorize it? Such a so important phrases. Otherwise, you won't make any Japanese friends. You want to finish 20 years grammar, kanji, everything, and after that 20 years later, you're going to make friends? Definitely, personally, me, no. Then I cannot learn any languages. I'm sure. So that's why you don't need to afraid to make a mistake. You can just memorize how to introduce yourself, how to introduce why you are studying Japanese. What kind of opportunity would you like? What kind of community you want to join? You don't have a really time to study like a tree, terebi, ki, tree, pasokon, personal computer. You don't have a time to doing this, really. It's gonna take really 20 years. You don't have time to doing this. Okay, if you really want to get the job or want to make a friends or have a new friend or girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, you don't have a really time. Trust me, I'm 35 years old. I don't have a time for going the all grammar for doing this. And after that, start speaking. You can really speak Japanese without knowing grammar. You need a lot of repetition. You have so many things to do, but you don't have a time for that. Okay. So yeah, konnichiwa. Yes, konnichiwa. I can explain the grammar, of course, but you don't need the grammar. You can learn konnichiwa, good afternoon, right? But it doesn't mean good afternoon. Konnichiwa means today. What about today? This is a grammar because wa is a particle that is how can I say, shows what you want to talk about. But you can learn konnichiwa. So why should you should not learn a lot of phrases that you can use it to Japanese people today? And why don't you get the job today in Japan? Okay. So yes, tell me. Hi. Hello. Hello, tell me. Hi. I love you. Thank you so much. I love you too. 大好きです。And ha 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 ha. Yeah. So hello, tell me I love Japan, Japanese languages. So if you really love it, you should communicate with Japanese people. Then you don't have a time to doing this grammar for many, many years. And then you really want to talk to Japanese people, then we have so many things to do. Actually, a lot of pronunciation, the common phrases. Okay. So I actually what I wanted to say, stop Japanese. Stop struggling to be a Japanese speaker is I think almost done. But if you have any request now, you can tell me. So yeah, actually this is my realization of almost 5 years ago. That is okay. I just want to know how to communicate with the people, especially I'm freelancer for 12 years. I have so many opportunity to meet new people all the time. And people asking me, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? And what you're doing? What you're doing? Why you live in Greece? Oh, why you left Japan? And these things that people ask usually. And if I prepared for 10 languages to answer this question, can you imagine? I can speak immediately for 10 languages. Now I don't have time for that. But 4 languages now I'm doing for that preparation. We need to analyze. People will ask you these things. So I'm gonna answer these things perfectly. You really don't have a time to doing this, random vocabulary for doesn't relate it to you, nothing. Like this is a pen. You will never say it. And you will never say it. Ben plays tennis. This is also, you will never say this sentence forever, and no meaning to actually try to listen or learn the phrases all the time if you really want to shortcut to in order to speak Japanese correctly today. You don't have time for that. You really need to focus on your life, in your life, and what you want to speak, and you need to know correct Japanese. Okay. So, thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. And I hope you really feel, okay, that was the reason I cannot speak Japanese today. And then I hope you really understand, okay, now I need to do these things. So if you are interested in to speak Japanese immediately in 2 months, try to visit my website, japanlanguagefactory.com. I have a lot of private lessons to give you a perfect sentences and check your pronunciation. And we're going to practice what is the best conversation. So don't wait for 20 years. Let's get the perfect life in Japanese language with the Japanese people live in Japan, or you work in your country, in your home for Japanese company, Japanese people, or maybe get married with Japanese, whatever you want. But you definitely need to speak correctly. So thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. And then see you soon. Thank you so much. またね。バイバイ。